There's Chris.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started with tonight's public input session. As you all may be aware, we did have a session a few weeks ago at DeBerry Swan School. And on tonight, we're having our second session. And so we'll be looking for some input from you all as to, please do.
Thank you.
Yep, go ahead. I'll give you a second. I love it when our young people show up. Thank you. So for those who may not know, my name is Latonia Monroe Naylor, and I am the chair of the Legislative and Contract Subcommittee, and we are doing another public input session. And so we thank you all for being here tonight. We're going to go ahead and jump right in. We are talking about our MOU that we've had in place for the police department to have real-time access of our school cameras. We are in the process of updating that policy, and we wanted to be very intentional with getting your input, any questions, any concerns, any thoughts. In response to our last session, we did really take heed to some of the things that were suggested by some of the folks in the room. We did make sure that the MOU that we have currently is up on the website, much more visible, that we do also have a Spanish version of that as well, and that we do have the questions that were asked in the last session available in Spanish and English as well. So we want to continue to get that input, and then we will be having some conversations in January to further go over what was discussed and how we can apply that to the new policy or the new agreement. I want to be clear, it's not a policy, it's an agreement. So we do have our first person that will be talking on tonight, and we have Destiny. And we want to ask you to share to stand right here in this blue X so that everyone can see you.
Sure.
Thank you, Destiny.
Hi. Hello, my name is Destiny. I'm an SPS student, and as we all know why we're here today, I feel like it's important to emphasize specifically the transparency and clarity over this agreement. Now, by no means are we saying this agreement is for a negative reason. However, most families and students have no idea what this agreement truly is about and who it affects. And there's no actual communication or effort being put in to let the public know any specifics. Not just the agreement specifically, but the information on subcommittee meetings also happening in regards to it. Myself, my classmates, and my parents want to know why there was also no mass email or no robocall about tonight's meeting as well. And if there's going to be any type of meeting in which the public and community can't speak up and be notified, the public should be able to know the meeting exists and have it presented to them. This also has to do with flyers that get released as a way to reach the community. Yes, flyers and posts are helpful, but they should be clear for people to read and provide clarity. Families and students should know what's going on and the specifics of what's going on in the buildings they attend on a daily. That's it.
Thank you, Destiny. Next, we have Najib, and as Najib is coming, I did see a couple of folks come in. If you would like to sign up to speak, please make sure that you see one of our administrators, and then we'll make sure that you're added to the list. Najib?
Hello, my name is Najib. I'm a senior from SciTech. I just want to talk about the shooting and how the cameras were used that day. So when it happened, there was a lockdown, maybe 2 or 1 minute after the initial shots been fired, and it had been called through the radio. After, it was roughly 10 to 15 minutes before everyone was released. There was still a lot of commotion going around the school. It still wasn't a safe place, I wouldn't say. I just wanted to know how the cameras are used to evaluate the situation at the time.
Thank you so much, Najib. Forgive me, I did forget to mention that we do have a translator here who is translating into Spanish. If anyone needs translation services, please see her. She'll be more than happy to assist. Thank you. Can you say that for me in Spanish? Gracias.
Hay alguien que necesita intérprete aquí, escucha.
Thank you.
Gracias. Sí.
Okay, we have our next person, which is Naomi. Come on, Naomi. Hi, how are you?
Hi, nice to see you guys.
Good to see you
My name
too.
is Naomi, as you know. I'm a senior in Springfield Public Schools and a community organizer. And to get straight to the point, like, I think to ensure the safety and security of Springfield Public School students, we need to acknowledge like the language used in the policy. Specifically, I guess the vagueness of the language used in the agreement, sorry. As like the language yields too much power to the police or to other third parties, and it doesn't really respect the privacy of students. Unfortunately, not everyone here is able to view the policy as it's still not like super visible or accessible on the website, even though it was promised last meeting that it would be, so that's kind of But after reviewing the policy closely, like I took like an hour to look at it, it's apparent that there's a huge lack of clarity regarding like who exactly is accessing the camera footage, what it's used for, the conditions under which live footage can be accessed, and most importantly, parental consent. There's no reason why like students being in school should be used as like something for training purposes because, you know, we're not criminals. I don't know why that's the thing. And while relaying information to the police department is important to ensure our safety, we need to be cautious of what language is used in this agreement because it can leave way too much room for like unnecessary access. The current language of the policy, once again, does not ensure safety for our students or privacy. And if we want to keep police in the loop, we have to keep our students safe and ensure their privacy remains protected. We need to address the vague language of the policy so that the confusion of students, parents, and the community can be cleared. In no way am I saying that the policy should be like completely taken away, but I just think the language needs to be cleared up and amended so that not so many people have access to like camera footage and stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. And the last person I have on my list is Gabriel. If there's anyone else. Just 1 second, Gabriel. Give folks a second to come in. Hello, how are you? So we're gonna have Gabriel. If anyone else has come in while Naomi was talking, and please make sure that you sign up if you would like to be added to the list. And go ahead, Gabriel.
So my name is Gabriel. I'm a senior in the Springfield Public Schools District, and really my big thing is that there's no, obviously, right, these cameras and the live access is intended, like the intended use is for an emergencies. But other than like, you know, the kind of obvious like, you know, bomb threats, you know, just general threats, like what are the specific criteria that need to be met in order to warrant accessing the live surveillance footage?
Thank you very much.
Like non-emergency stuff as well.
Thank you so much, Gabriel. Do we have any other folks that are signed up?
Anyone change their mind? Want to sign up?
Does Sven get this on the
Is there anyone, what's that?
cops get to say anything or not?
Any way we could minimize.
All right, okay.
Is there anyone else that had any questions or comments that you would like to share about the agreement? Okay, please sign the list over there, please. And while they're signing the list, we're going to also let you all know that we will be having some legislative and contract subcommittee meetings in January. So we will make sure that those are they're always, you know, published and all of that stuff, but we'll just do a better job of making sure that you all know about it in advance so that if you decide to attend, and we will hold them after school hours so that you'll be able to be present.
On the, oh, yeah. I just have a question. For the subcommittee, like meetings and stuff, can those be posted on the Springfield K-12 website? 'Cause I just know like a lot of students, that, you know, in my schools and like other schools follow that page and they actually like tune in. So I feel like posting on there, that could be like, you know, putting it on social.
Is that like Instagram?
Yeah, it's your
Oh.
Instagram page. It's like Springfield K-12.
Thank you. So we will definitely make sure that it's on all of our social media platforms as well. But we'll make sure that you all know, because we want to make sure that you all are involved in the process and the planning and be able to see what the language looks like for the new agreement as that's unfolding. And we're bringing in some new counsel to help us with, creating that language and editing that language. So
There's a,
we have, I want to make sure I got this right. TJ, that was an easy one, right? I thought that was gonna be hard. So TJ, did you have something to say? If you can come up here, please, and stand at the blue X. Thank you.
I mostly just had a question.
Mhm.
What are the updates? I'm sure this was answered. Sorry. Had some other responsibilities, but what are the updates to the contract? What's the difference between what was already passed and now?
So I can answer this question because I did speak to it a little bit earlier. We have not yet updated it. So we have some new council that's coming in. We expect them to be ready to rock and roll with our policies in January. So when we have our legislative and contract meetings, then we will present some language to be able to start drafting through what that looks like. So the reason why we're asking you all to comment is because when we create the next iteration of that, we want to include any suggestions that folks have. So like there were comments around clarity of language or questions about certain things that may be easy to be misconstrued. We want to clarify that with however we come up with that next iteration through our attorney. Like I'm not going to do it. The attorney is going to update that.
Okay, so it's almost like a listening piece, right? Like this
Yes.
is where you get the ideas to draft the new contract.
Yes.
Okay, how long until the new contract is drafted?
The hope is that by the end of January, it will be done.
Okay, all right. And then, does the current contract cover transparency with parents about how these things work as far as like, communication with parents when a camera is accessed and or the reasons why, anything like that?
So we'll add that to the questions.
Oh,
We'll
okay.
add that to the question because that's a valid question.
Right, great.
Okay.
Please add that to the. Trying to think of any other immediate ones. Nothing that comes to mind now, but I'm sure we'll be in touch. You guys have an email or something, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay. Did we have any others? Any other questions or comments? Okay.
Did Adam want to speak?
Is Adam still here? Oh, Adam, did you want to just give her a brief overview of where we're at?
I think, thank you. I think at this point, we've given a lot of information in response to the last meeting. I made it a point to put everything up on our website. We went through all the questions. We put up all the answers. We put up English, Spanish agreements. It's all on the safety and security website. It's posted there very plainly for everybody. So if you go to the public website, go under my safety and security department, it's all there. So we did that pretty much immediately. We just added the last document yesterday with the Spanish version of some of the FAQs. So that's up there. But again, I want to simply stand up here and say, and I said this last time, and I'm speaking to you all because, again, this is my job. Joseph Griffin in the back of the room there is the security manager. So we are solely in charge of your safety. Everything you do, in my opinion, in my expertise, and in my 25 years of doing safety and security in law enforcement, is for your safety. There are no agendas here. I'm a hired employee. My job is to keep you safe. Okay, and that is exactly what this will do. We hope to never use it. Unfortunately, we've had to use it 7 times in the last 3 years. Okay, and those were, and kind of touch on what you said, life safety emergencies. There is nothing, we can't list out every bullet item that this may potentially be used. Right? We all think of the worst, active shooter, right? Bomb threats. Anything that is going to jeopardize your safety, your life in that school, we want the police to understand what they are getting into and where they are going, plain and simple. There are checks and balances, privacy. Our department, only people that can archive and save videos in the district. You're looking at it right here. We keep your safety and your privacy top priority. No one can see it. Nobody, unless we are compelled by the courts to show that video. Okay, this is kept under lock and key. All right, the video is not shared with anybody. All right, cameras have been in the schools for decades. Decades. We spend money on upgrading them every year to make sure they're working in the latest technology. This is a new agreement, and again, Multiple districts across the Commonwealth use it. Both, some very, very comparable to our demographics. Again, some of those districts allow police carte blanche access to their cameras. They watch them all day long, no monitoring. Right? This is very, very, very locked down. They cannot access these cameras without permission. It's only for a life safety emergency. We know about it immediately. We're able to audit it. They are not there sitting in a room. And again, I want to stress, I've said this many, many times, and I think a lot of people are missing the point. These are not police officers that are watching the cameras. These are civilians, just like you and I, civilians. They work inside the police department in a room called real-time crime analysis. There are no police officers in that room, none. They're all civilians. The way that it works, call gets dispatched or a 911 call goes out, they monitor that channel, they're able to go on. SciTech, you asked the question. I know I'm not supposed to answer questions, but I'm standing up here, so I want to touch on it. SciTech, gun went off, radio call went out. Police were immediately able to identify that that suspect fled the building. We would have had a complete and entire different situation if that subject fled inside the building or if we thought that he fled. We knew he left the building. We knew he left in the car he left in, what he was wearing, who he was with. That was done in minutes. Bill Shorts, civilian, runs this unit. I was in contact with him within 1 to 2 minutes of this incident happening. We knew that the suspect had left the scene. There were arrests within hours. That is exactly the use case for this agreement. Okay? It worked. It was our one real use case. We talked about this last time. The rest of them were all threats, baseless threats. But thankfully we had them. Talked about this last time. Public Day Elementary. We had a student steal a teacher's cell phone, call in that there were dead bodies and people shooting people in the building. If the police weren't able to access those cameras immediately, they would have gone into that building, guns drawn, thinking there were people harming our students. Thank God we had. We were able to see in there and realize it was a false call. And while every cop in the city was on their way to that school, we were able to tell it was false. So again, I thank everyone for being here. I appreciate everybody's passion. I do. I said this last time. We are here every single day. If you guys have any questions, my door is always open. My phone number, email, please reach out. I'd be happy to come to the school and talk to you. All right? Absolutely. All right. That's what we're here for. We're here to keep you safe. Okay. So I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So we have one more speaker who's a resident, and he's going to come at this time, Stephen, and then after we'll hear from our superintendent. And okay, Stephen, where are you at, Stephen? Okay, can you stand up here at the blue X, please?
Good evening, everybody.
Good
Stephen
evening.
Howard from McKnight. I normally try to attend these meetings because I want to show support for the young folks. Some of them here probably recognize me, I don't know. But
You gotta face, they can't
It's just
hear
being
you.
recorded, that's all.
There's
yeah,
people out there in
okay.
the land watching as well.
Now, I was surprised when the ask to continue the contract for the cameras to be in the schools was put on hold. That was surprising to me. We see how many shootings are going on throughout the nation. I can't remember the astronomical number, but it's something like 2 mass shootings at least a day that goes on in America. And if we have folks in the schools and there's a threat like that, why would we want to wait for the police officers to get a call to get there when they could actually be observing everything that's going on at the same time? I understand that people saying, well, they're looking at us. Okay, so they're looking at you. As long as you're not doing anything bad, wrong, why should it concern you? Won't you rather be comfortable knowing that the police department is actually monitoring what's going on so that while you could be getting ready to go on a plane to take a trip, the cop doesn't have to call and say, the school doesn't have to call and say, hey, look, you can't take that trip. If that could be avoided by the police department monitoring and seeing exactly what's going on, the problem is resolved. Look at the panic when when all the people responding now go there when it's a false alarm. And if even it's something that's real, won't you rather the cops be there as soup as soon as possible, than maybe waiting 10, 15 minutes to get there, how many people could be shot and killed? Just because you feel that your privacy is being, you could be one of the people that's being killed. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. And so, we're gonna ask our superintendent to come, or is it a counter question or is it another question? Okay, yeah, you can.
Could so Brian, I think, Brian said that he said he put FAQs and stuff on the safety and security.
Oh, Adam?
website.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Yeah,
It's okay.
no,
It's okay. You're fine.
I'm so
We're
sorry.
talking about
I
your
really
safety.
wasn't.
No, you're
But
fine.
yeah, he said, he put like all of that stuff on the safety and security website, but, is there a way that could be put on the Springfield Public Schools website? Cause no student or parent really goes on that. We primarily use the, SPS website because, you know, that's on our computers and all that. There's just no way of seeing that. But thanks.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I just want to make sure that I clarify that we still do have the current MOU in place. It had not, it's not that it's not being used right now. We extended it. And we just didn't want to update to a new contract or a new agreement without input from the community. So the one that we had is still in place. So if there was an emergency and something happened, then it would be as it has been, that the police would be able to get real-time access to the cameras. Okay, so I want to be clear that it's not the case that the kids are in the school right now and they're not going to be covered or not have a quick response. That is the situation. It will still be the case right now. We're just looking to tweak the language and things of that nature in the agreement. Okay, TJ, you had another question?
Yes, actually, I had a couple of contributions
Okay,
for the new
we'll
contract.
take it.
After I have listened to the wonderful different things that people have had to say. So one, it would be a repetitive contract revision over the years, over some kind of course that I think parents should at least be aware of, if not agreed upon with them. An internal ethical review over the community impact with a written deposition given to the parents, because, you know, you got to police the police, right? It's the whole Justice League problem, right? Who's watching the people who are watching the people?
Mhm.
And that needs to also not be a one-time thing that the people, you know, 10 years down the line are suffering for one decision we made that looked good today, that may not look so good the next time. And the last, sorry, you're writing faster.
No apology.
All
We're
right.
recording too, so
Oh,
believe me,
oh.
if I miss something,
Oh,
somebody else will pick it up.
All right. And then the last thing would be the fear or the concern of private sector capitalism and protecting this from being an industry that, you know, people can extort or use for gain, especially by companies.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much to everyone that has spoken on tonight and everyone that has come out. We really appreciate it. For a second, we thought we were going to be here looking at each other. And so we were happy to see you all here as a community, just to show people that there are people that want to know and that care and that have questions. It makes a difference for us when we're doing our jobs. And so before we close out, I do want to ask our superintendent if you have anything you would like to say.
I just want us to put our hands together for our students. I mean, I am so impressed. And just the suggestions were just so scholarly and so thoughtful, so meaningful, and just so insightful. And I am just so proud to stand here and say I'm your superintendent. You all really provided suggestions that we have to carefully consider and include. I mean, just revising the language to really meet the needs of those of you who will be subject to the use of these cameras. So I just applaud you for how well you showed up today. You spoke your truth, you owned your space, and you commanded attention and respect. And I applaud you, applaud you, applaud you for showing up and just really owning the grassroots movement that you are starting and continuing. Because I know some of you are already involved in grassroots activity, and I am just so pleased that this is just continuing the great work that you all are doing to shape the school district. Your voices matter. We're taking it under careful consideration, and you will be involved in the revision of this MOU. So again, let's put our hands together for well done, and we will continue to work with you and elevate your voices to make the changes that will impact your lived experiences in Springfield Public Schools. So thank you for showing up tonight. Thank you.
Oh, we're gonna go ahead and close it.
You just adjourned it, you.
Okay. So at this time, we just want to thank you all again for being here. And we, as the superintendent said, we are absolutely considering everything. We have the recordings, we have the information, and we are absolutely going to include you all in the process and make sure that you're aware so you can have your voices and your input heard. And so at this time, we're gonna end for the night. And y'all have a great night and safe trip home. Thank you.